part of one of the best defenses in the league so far this season. How are you in the back line staying locked in as you guys head into this final stretch and playoffs?
Not too much different. I think we're just doing a lot of the same stuff we've been doing this year. We haven't been, I think, as good as we could be defensively. Missed out on some clean sheets here and there, but I think overall the way the team has played has been the most important thing. And so we're just sticking to daily process, going through each day and getting ready for this weekend.
You guys had a great 5-0 win on Monday, and you had an electric goal. How are you guys using that win to propel you guys down this final stretch?
Yeah, it's super important to get momentum to go into the postseason just at our best form, and a big win against a really, really good team. Obviously, unfortunate situation for them, but a really good win for us, and we just want to keep that form going into the playoffs and keep winning at home.
You guys played Detroit back in May, and you guys have seen their film since then. What kind of challenge do you think they present as a squad?
They have a lot of experience. They're really good as a group, I would say. They're organized, they defend well, they're dangerous on set pieces. So it's a team we're very familiar with. We know a lot of those guys pretty well. And I think we'll be in a good spot for this weekend.
Yeah, how are you guys preparing to tackle that challenge that they present?
I think we've just gone through the different phases. Obviously this week has been a bit shorter, but just focusing on how we want to go about things, whether it be transition, defending in transition, some of the key things we touched on this week, and then dealing obviously with their formation, how they're going to play and set up, and then how we want to combat that and be ready for it.
As I said to Coach, another win is going to break the club's record for regular season wins set last year. For you personally, what do you think has been the biggest area of growth since you guys last played Detroit in May?
I think the squad has just really come full circle. Guys in the beginning of the season, some guys are getting into form, maybe they're dealing with some injuries, but I think right now you've seen just how strong the group is, whether that be the starting 11 or the guys on the bench. You see the players we bring on, the impact they have in the game. So I think the overall strength of the squad and where we are right now, we're in a good place.
3 games in 8 days. How do you guys kind of prepare for that? And all the travel too.
Yeah. Like I was saying, that's obviously going to be aided by our squad rotation and the strength we have. We have a lot of experience, a lot of guys who have been down this stretch and been through some deep playoff runs. So I think we're going to have to really lean on those guys, and especially like you're saying, 3 games in 8 days, we're going to need everybody to be ready.
And how do you balance that? You want to give guys rest because you want them fresh for the playoffs,
yeah,
but also you want to put a competitive squad out there. How do you kind of balance those 2 things?
I think it's just making sure, whether it's a young guy like Vigo coming in or, maybe somebody who hasn't been playing as much because of injury, just making sure they know their role. And like I said, that comes down to the guys around them, helping them prepare and making sure they know what's going on, or if something maybe, head drops or something happens in the game, making sure we pick those guys up and make sure they're kind of on task and we use each other to kind of lean on and get through the tough stretch. Yeah.
Is there talk already about the playoffs in the locker room there, or?
No, I think we're just focused on today, and then when tomorrow comes, we'll get through training, and then Saturday look to have a good performance. So we're just taking it day by day. Most of us were here last year, if not the year before, when obviously the boys had that run. So we know what it's like to be here and be in that position. So we're not too concerned with that right now.
Coach, after an incredible 5-0 win on Monday, what's the mindset heading into this match against Detroit City?
Yeah, it was a good performance against Colorado Springs, a little bit unique in the way that it had to play out over the Saturday, Monday. But, good, strong performance. We need to make sure that even with a shortened week that we're focused back for Detroit. This mimics high-level playoff game. We could be playing them in the playoffs in a few weeks, so we want to put our best foot forward. They're playing for their playoffs. This has got every single bit of being a playoff match. So a lot at stake. We want to play very well. We want to be intentional with our movements. We want to be intense with our attacks and together with defending. So looking forward to it. We've been great at home, even last game with the weather and everything. I think our fans will be excited to get back out and get after it with us. So we're excited. Big, huge event in a big, important 3 points on the line.
You guys played them back in May. Obviously, it's been a couple months since then. In film and from their other games, what have you seen from them that you guys are going to really work on?
Yeah, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. So, you have to find that patience with moving them, but not being casual, because they'll nip it and they'll be in your face. But then we got to find that balance of having the urgency to get balls in the box, to have vertical runs, to finish the attacks, but knowing that they're very good in transition. And them in possession, they do a very good job of getting their wingbacks high, creating a numerical overload. They'll be very, very calm and comfortable throughout the 90 minutes, so we got to find ways to make them uncomfortable. So good team, well coached. They've got very good players. Jay used to be here, very good midfield player. Smith up top's been scoring goals. Carroll, captain at the back's been an all-league defender for them for their 3 years. So very, very tough game, but we've got to make sure that we do as much as possible to push on them to make them uncomfortable.
Another win will break your guys' record set last year for regular season wins. What do you think from your perspective has been the key to maintaining that consistency throughout the season? Yeah,
it's a good outlook. Obviously this year we have, I think, 18 wins, but we've played, only 28 games. We only play 30 this year. So it's a little bit unique where you can look at it and say we've set more and more records this year. We've been doing a lot of great things. We got goal scorers and all league players. So, but there's still a taste in our mouth that we want more. So it's a good concept. We've been very consistent the 3 years we've been here. We've been doing great things. We just keep getting a little bit better every year, and we've had one major trophy and played for 2 others. That's what you do. You want to play for trophies, and if you don't do it, you feel like it's not there, and if you are doing it, you just want more. So incredible season so far. 3 massive games left this season, to keep pushing. But I think, to your point, we've had record-breaking seasons, and we've been doing more and more every single year. We just want to keep getting better and keep pushing, putting ourselves in spots to win trophies.
It's a really interesting final stretch. You have 3 games in 7 days and then playoffs. How are you preparing to maintain everyone's health and rest while also performing to the best of your guys' ability?
Yeah, I don't think a whole heck of a lot changes. We've had midweek games in the past. This one's unique with the reschedule and then the game that we didn't play fully and then finish it on Monday. So we got a very tough game against Detroit. We'll fly cross country for a very, very difficult match against Sacramento and then come back home with no prep against Birmingham. So like you mentioned, 3 games in the 8-day period that will have to be focused. Everybody needs to be ready. But this group's strong. They're ready. Everybody's eager to play. They're not just eager to play, but they're eager to win and play high-level football and play in front of our fans. So we're excited. Very difficult game Saturday against Detroit, but we'll be ready for it and hopefully mentally and physically be fresh, ready to go.
You talked about this in our other preview, so I apologize if you're going to repeat yourself, but we're doing breast cancer awareness match, take 2. What's the importance of this game to you?
Yeah. Look, it's very important. We mentioned this before. The women in this country and in this world need support, and I think what our club does is a tremendous job connecting with the community. We've talked about the Hispanic Heritage Month. We've talked about other celebrations, the military appreciation. There's a lot of people in this world that make this a positive place, and in our club and our sport should be given back in general. I've mentioned this before. My mother's a breast cancer survivor, so it's very important, and it's something we need to constantly be supporting those around us. And I think in turn, I was there. I know it was only a few minutes with the rain, but they're excited to be Charleston Battery supporters, and we support them back. So hopefully it's a great evening on the pitch, off the pitch, in our community, supporting those around us who've given nothing but support to these players in this club.
How do you keep with 3 games in 8 days? How do you keep the mindset, hey, we're making a push for the playoffs, we need guys rested because the postseason, and kind of maintaining that competitive balance? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I think, there's a method behind the madness. We're very process-oriented. Guys want to be selected. Guys want to play. Guys want to play 90 minutes every game. So, having eager and talented players ready to go is not going to be the problem. It's going to be making sure we manage some minutes, making sure, we limit injuries. It's a sport, so it happens. A lot of travel. But also we want to put lineups out there to go for it. Strong lineups to go win games. You saw young players the other night come in and help score, get players back from international duty. It's a team that wants to go for it. So there's not a whole heck of a lot to to motivate, there's not a whole heck of a lot to do. It's just putting them in good spots, making sure they're prepared for our opponent, and putting our best foot forward.
I say, yeah, but sometimes as a coach, you got to be smarter than the player. You know, the guy wants to play every game and play every minute, but that's not what's really going to help you guys in the long run.
Yeah, maybe. You know, every situation, every player is different. Like I said, we've got players that want to play. We've got players that can play. We got players that should be playing. We got players that have maybe not played as many minutes as they would have liked, that have earned more than enough opportunities. So, you know, we'll start with Saturday. Like I said, a very strong Detroit team. Put our best foot forward there. Fight for all 3 points, and then we'll turn around and do the crazy travel and go from there.